In this tutorial, I'm going to show you step by step how you can draw this beautiful pumpkin watercolor illustration in Procreate. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner, just follow my steps and I'm sure you can draw something very similar. Before you start, make sure to download the color palette and that you have all my free brushes and paper textures. They are linked in the description of this video. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to get more tutorials like this, learn different styles and techniques, make sure to check out my Patreon. I add their new video every week. Link is in the description. So with all that being said, grab your drawing tools, relax, and let's start. Let's make a new canvas, A4 canvas from Procreate. And first we can import here a paper texture. Let's go to the Actions menu, Add, and pick here Insert the file. And go to my paper textures, and let's take paper texture number 7. Okay, tap here to finish this. And we can start drawing our first pumpkin. Let's make a new layer for this. So tap here on this plus. And today we're going to set those layers that we will be drawing on to a blending mode called Linear Burn. This way, when we'll draw here with some color, we'll be still able to see that paper texture through it. So let's take first color number 1, and take a brush. We are going to draw the basic shape with the monoline brush from calligraphy. Let's make the brush size maybe 11. And let's draw here a shape like this, kind of like an oval shape. Okay, right away we can color this inside, so drag and drop the color. You can hold your pencil on the screen and swipe it to the left or right to adjust the color drop threshold. Now right next to it we can draw kind of like a moon shape. Just make here a small distance between those two shapes. So something like this. Let's color this inside. And one more over here. Like that. Color this inside. You can still fix this shape. Okay, and now the same on the other side. Color this inside. If you want, you can also use here the eraser to fix this shape. So let's take it, tap on it, and we can set it to the same brush. So calligraphy and monoline brush. I will make your brush size 32, and maybe I will fix here this top edge a little bit, make it shorter. Okay, so like that. And now let's draw one more shape here on the side. So like that. Color this inside. And fix the shape if you have to. I'm still going to fix here this shape on the right side. And now I'm happy with this. We can now start adding here some more colors inside of this, creating here a watercolor effect. We want to draw now only inside of this shape. To do it, we can make a new layer on top of this one and set it as clipping mask. So tap here and pick clipping mask. Let's pick the color. Now we can take color number 2. And let's pick a brush. I will be using here my brushes from my watercolor set. If you have them, you can also use them. If you don't have them, you can check them out. I will leave the link to them in the description of this video. But if you don't have them, you can use this brush. Let's go here to Artistic and take White Light. If you are my patron, you can also use brushes from our Patreon watercolor brush set. You can see that this kind of looks like a watercolor. It has this nice effect, so you can use this brush. Or if you have any other watercolor brush that you like, you can also use that one. So I'm gonna go to my watercolor set. And I will use here Watercolor Basic. With the brush size 16, I'm going to add here some of this in the top part of the main piece. Now also here on the other ones, just on the top part, like that. Now let's make the brush size smaller, maybe 5%, and add some of this in smaller size. We're just adding here some kind of spots to make this look more interesting. Okay. Now let's add here dark color, color number 3. We can add this mostly here at the bottom part, kind of like a shadow. So something like this. And now we can blend those together. We are going to smudge them. So let's take the smudge tool. Let's tap on it again. And I'm going to use here the watercolor smudge from my brush set. But if you don't have it, you can just keep using this white light brush from Artistic. Okay. So I'm taking watercolor smudge. And with the brush size 54, we can just move this around and smudge it a little bit like that, creating here nicer effects. And now let's take a small break, and I would like to ask you to write a comment, I can draw this. It would mean a lot to me, I would know that you enjoyed this video, and I could see who is watching me, so thank you for doing that. And now let's go back to drawing. So let's make something like this. Now we can draw here with some darker color on the edges. For this, let's make one more layer. Let's also set this clipping mask. So tap here and pick clipping mask. And to make here this nice effect, we can set this layer as linear burn. It will make the colors darker. Let's take color number 1. Let's take our watercolor brush. We can make it smaller now, maybe 2%. And let's make this here darker on the edges, like this. So just go in few places on the edges, like this. Okay. And maybe we can also use here this brown color, color number 3. Let's make it even darker in few spots. Okay, and now let's smudge this very gently. Let's take the smudge tool, make it small. I will use here size 7. And very lightly we can smudge this, we can push it. So this will look nice. And we can also still turn down the opacity of this layer. So if you think this is too dark, too strong, we can change it. Okay, so I'm going to turn down the opacity of this. Let's tap over here and just turn it down. I will make it here 55%. Okay, we can now add here some kind of light, make it brighter in few spots. So let's make a new layer for this. Let's also set it as clipping mask. And now we can change the blending mode of this to screen. Let's pick the color. Take color number 8. We can make the brush size bigger now, maybe 7%. And just add it here in few places. Mostly on top I'm going to add it. Like this. And again, we can smudge this. So let's take the smudge tool. I'll make it bigger now, 41%. And I'm just going to tap here a few times to make this spread nicely. Okay, and now we can turn down the opacity. Let's make it maybe 42%. You can tap here to turn it on and off to see the difference. Okay, I think this looks better. And we can still add here some extra highlights. Let's make a new layer for this. Set it as clipping mask. And now change the blending mode to add. And for this, let's use color number 2. I'm going to maybe change the brush. I'm going to use here this one, watercolor less water. If you don't have it, you can keep using the one that you're using. Or maybe you can try now this Old Beach brush from artistic section. So my brush size here will be 9%. And I'm still going to make this brighter here in few places in this way. Okay, and smudge this again. And now turn down the opacity. I will make it here 30%. Let's see the difference. Okay, I like it with this. So now this part of the pumpkin is ready. Right away we can group this to keep it organized. So let's swipe on all of those layers here to the right, like this, and pick here group. Okay, we can close this group over here. And now we can draw a little stem and then some leaves. So let's make a new layer for this. Let's pick the color, take color number 4. Let's go back to the layers for a second, and we have to set this one also as linear burn. Okay, and now let's take a brush. For the main shape, we can just use our monoline brush from calligraphy. So let's draw it like this. Draw here 3 or 4 shapes going up like that. This way, creating this stem shape all together. So something like this, and color this inside. Okay. Now we can draw here kind of like a swirly line like this. Maybe one more over here. And now one going to this side, like that. And over here we are going to draw the leaf. First we can draw it somewhere here on the side, and then we are going to move it to be here on this line. So let's draw a middle vein for the leaf first, like this. And now we can draw here from this point an arc. Same on the other side. And we can connect it with that first line with an arc like this. Okay, so something like that. Let's color this inside. We can now fix this shape. Okay, And now let's move it here so it will be on top of this line. So to do it, we can just take the selection tool. At the bottom, let's pick freehand option. Make sure that color fill is off. We can now select this. Close the selection. And now take the arrow tool and just move it. So let's move it over here. And if you want to make it smaller, make sure that you have uniform option selected. And now just make it smaller like this. You can also rotate it and put it somewhere over here on that line. Okay, and then tap here to finish this. Now we can add here some fun effects, just like we did to the pumpkin part. So let's make a new layer for this. Set it as clipping mask. Let's pick the color. Take color number 5. Let's pick the brush. Let's go back to the watercolor brushes we were using. And over here, maybe I'm going to use now this one, watercolor dark edges, with the brush size 21. Let's add this here a little bit to this part. So at the bottom here, maybe a little bit over here at the end of the leaf. And now here, also do the stem part. Like that. Now let's add here another color, color number 6. We can make this a little bit brighter now. Okay, and one more color, color number 7. Maybe for this I'm going to change the brush. I'm gonna take now watercolor basic brush with the brush size 3%. I'll just add it over here to make this really bright. Same here to the stem part. Okay, and now let's blend this. So let's take the smudge tool. I'll make the brush size 25% and we can smudge it together. Make it blend really nicely. Okay, so like this. Now we can add here some veins on that leaf. For this we can make a new layer. We are going to set it as clipping mask. Let's change the color. Take color number 8. And here I'm going to use watercolor thin brush. If you don't have it, you can just make your brush size smaller. I will make it here maybe 5%. And let's draw them like this. So draw the main vein going in the middle over here. And now somewhere from here, we can draw one line going to the side, like that. And then one over here and here going towards the top of the leaf. Okay. Now we can add here some smaller veins coming from these, like that. Okay, now we can add here some dark edges on those shapes. Let's make a new layer for this. Set it as clipping mask and change it to linear burn. Let's change the color. Let's take color number 5. I'm going to go back to the watercolor basic brush. And with the brush size 2%, I'm going to add it here in few places on the edges. Okay, and now let's blend this. So take the smudge tool, make it small, I'll make it 5%. And we can just smudge this, push it closer to the edge. And let's turn down the opacity of this just a little bit. I will make it here 79%. Okay, and let's do here one more layer to brighten this up a little bit. So let's tap on the plus. Let's set this layer as clipping mask. And we can change it here to add. And pick color. Let's take color number 8. I'm going to use here this watercolorless water brush. With the brush size 6%, we can add it in few spots to brighten this up. Okay, let's smudge this. Make the brush size for this much bigger, maybe 28. And now we can turn down the opacity. I will make it here 43%. Let's check the difference. It's very subtle and I like it this way. Okay, so this part is finished. We can group those layers together. Let's swipe on them to the right and tap here on group. We can close this group now. And now we can have here some more fun and make a few more pumpkins. This will be easy. We're just going to copy this and make here a few changes. First, let's move this up on the canvas. So to move it up, we have to select those two groups. Let's swipe on this one to the right. And now take arrow tool and move it here up. If you want this to be exactly in the middle of the canvas, make sure you have snapping turned on. Okay, let's put it up over here to make here some space for the other pumpkins. And then tap here to finish this. Let's duplicate this pumpkin part. So let's go to this group over here and swipe on it to the left and pick duplicate. Let's take the group underneath and we're going to flatten it. So tap here and pick flatten. And this means that now this is just one layer. Let's move it down. So let's take the arrow tool and we can move it down and you can see this is exactly the same as this one. To make this look a little bit different, we can rotate it here. We can flip it horizontally. Okay. And also we can very slightly adjust the shape of it. We can make it a little bit smaller maybe. Just a tiny bit. Okay. And let's have it here so that top part is under the top pumpkin. So you can see those colors here overlapping. We are going to take care of it in a second. Okay, let's tap here to finish this. And we can slightly change the shape of this by using here Liquify tool. Let's go to the adjustments and take Liquify. Now here at the bottom, pick push option. We can make the size maybe about 39%, 40%. And pressure can be 78, distortion none, and momentum, we can make it none. Okay, so now we can very lightly adjust how this looks, change the shape of this just a little bit. So this way it's not exactly a copy of this other pumpkin, but very similar. Okay. If you want, you can make the size bigger and then move it more like this, for example. Okay. When you finish, tap over here. Now let's change the color of this. We can do it here using Hue Saturation Brightness option. And at the bottom, we can adjust the color. Let's make this one a little bit green. So you can slide this over here to find the color that you like. I'm going to try here Hue 59. We can make the saturation a little bit less, maybe 47. And let's try to make it brighter maybe. I will make it here 52. Let's tap here to finish this. And you can still adjust it again if this is not exactly the color that you're going for. So let's go to the adjustments, take hue, saturation, brightness again. And again, you can try to slide this to find the color that you're looking for. Okay, I like these settings. So my hue is 53, saturation 40, and brightness 51. Let's tap here to finish this. If you want to keep playing with this, you can still try the other options. Maybe let's go to color balance. And let's see if I can make it a little bit more yellow. Okay. So I'm moving this here towards the yellow. And now let's tap over here and change the mid-tones, because we are changing shadows first. Let's also take it here towards the yellow. But maybe now this is too yellow. So I'm just going to take it back here, more or less to the middle. And I like it like that. Let's tap here to finish this. And you can also go now here and take curves and see how you can adjust it this way. Okay. And then you can also try gradient map. You have here some gradients that are already made. Some of them will be too much, but maybe you'll find something over here that you will like more than what you had before. I'm going to undo this because I like this. But I still want to show you that if you want to still adjust the color of this a little bit, you can always make your new layer on top of this one. Set it as clipping mask. And let's say that I would like to make this just a little bit more yellow. I can use here this yellow color, color number 8, drag and drop it in here. And now change blending mode of this. So you can see how this can be affected by different blending modes. And probably the best option you can use here is the overlay blending mode to adjust the color of this. So now let's see the difference. It's very subtle, but it makes this a little bit more yellow. Okay, so it's up to you how you want your color to look. Now we can take care of those parts here under the first pumpkin. We can just smudge them away. So let's go first to our shape over here. Take the smudge tool. Let's make it smaller, 18%. And we can just move it away from here, like this. Okay, so you should have something like this. And now I see if I want to add here one more pumpkin, I need to move this up still a little bit. So I'm going to select all of those layers over here, take the arrow tool and move it up again, like this. Okay, I will tap here to finish this. And now we can duplicate again our pumpkin and move it down over here. So let's take the pumpkin layer, the group. Let's duplicate it. Now let's take the group underneath, tap on it and flatten it. Okay, let's take the arrow tool and we can move it down over here, like this. Let's tap here to finish this. We can now adjust the shape of it. So let's go to the adjustments and take liquify tool. And just slightly move this around to make it a little bit different than the top one. Let's play here with the brush size and just move this around to make it a little bit different. So when you're happy with your shape, just tap over here. And now let's adjust the color of this. So let's take your hue, saturation, brightness and play here with the hue. I would like this one to be more yellow. So I'm going to make here hue 55. Maybe more saturation. 56 and brighter. I will make it here 54. Let's tap here to finish this. And now I can still adjust it here with the color balance. I'll just take this here more towards yellow, like that. And I think this is good. So I will tap over here. I just want to make it still a little bit brighter now. So I can take hue, saturation, brightness and make this here brighter. I'll make it 52%. Let's tap here to finish this. And now we can move out those parts from under the green pumpkin. So let's take the smudge tool and we can just move it away. I'll make the brush size smaller, 7%, to be here more precise in the smaller parts. So this is finished. And now let's add here also a few leaves. So we are going to duplicate the group with the leaves. Let's swipe on it to the left and pick duplicate. Now let's take the one underneath. Let's tap on it and pick flatten. Let's move it somewhere. So let's take the arrow tool and we can move it away. Rotate it, and maybe I would like to put it over here like that. Okay, and this part we can erase in a moment. First, let's find a place for this. I think maybe like this would be nice over here. So I'm going to tap here to finish this. Now we can slightly change it with the liquify tool. So let's go to the adjustments and take liquify tool. Let's make the size here smaller, maybe 19, 20, and just change this a little bit. Maybe we can make it like that. Okay, and now bigger size, 40%. I'll just make it like this. Okay, let's tap here to finish this. If you want, you can also very lightly adjust the color of this. So let's take hue, saturation, brightness. And maybe let's make the hue 47. So it's a very, very small change, but it will not be the same as the other one. Let's tap over here to finish this. And now we can erase this. So let's take the eraser. Let's tap on it again. We can have it here set as monoline brush. Make the brush size 100% and just erase this. Okay. We can erase also this over here, like that. And now here by this edge, you can try to very carefully erase it around that pumpkin shape. But I think it's better just to smudge it away. This way it will look more natural, like a watercolor. So let's take the smudge tool and we can just smudge it away, because then those two colors are still kind of very lightly overlapping here. And I think this looks better this way. Okay. And now let's do it again. So let's duplicate the main group with the leaf. Swipe on it to the left and pick duplicate. Take the one underneath, tap on it and pick flatten. And now let's move it away. Over here, maybe let's flip it vertically, like that. And rotate it. I would like to put it somewhere over here, like that. Maybe I will make it just a little bit bigger. And now tap here to finish this. And let's take liquify tool to change it a little bit. Make the size smaller if you want to adjust it more precisely. Okay, like this. Let's tap here to finish this. And again, I'm going to slightly change the hue, saturation, brightness. Maybe now I can take it more towards blue. I'll make here hue of 55, turn down the saturation, I'll make it 43. Okay, let's tap here to finish this. And now we can erase this part. So let's take the eraser and just erase this. Okay, and now over here close to the edge, we can use the smudge tool. And just move it away. Okay, and now this illustration is finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you can share your drawing with me on Instagram. I would love to see it. And if you'd like to draw more with me, make sure to check out my Patreon. I add their new video every week. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!